Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for the second part of our, I don't even know what to call this. We'll call this our surprise in a book ... video. And so today we're going to make the box to go inside the bag. Now what I have here is just a piece of chipboard. This is a honey-made box that Grandpa likes his graham crackers. So what I did was here's another one. This was the box, and so what I did was I just cut off this section of the box, and that's how big I'm going to make my box to go inside my bag. So I'm just using what I have. So this is what I cut off, just that face panel like that. Now what I did was I did measure my bag, and the bottom of the bag measures 3 1/4 by 5 3/4. So I know that I want my box to be smaller than that because it has to fit inside the bag. So the bottom of our bag was 3 1/4 by 5 3/4. So I decided to make the bottom of my box 2 3/4, which is a 1/2 inch smaller, and by 5 inches, which is 3/4 of an inch smaller. That makes it small enough so it will fit in and out, and you'll be able to actually get in there and get a hold of it. So then what I did was I cut this off and I measured it, and this is 10 1/4 inches long. So what I did was I decided, okay, I need to have my bottom, which is 2 3/4. So I took 10 3/4 and subtracted 2 3/4, which told me how much I was going to have left. Now, if you don't want to do that, you can just measure to the center of your the cardboard that you're using, and then put half of the bottom of your box on each side of center. So let's say, just for simple sake, that the bottom of my box was going to be 3 inches. I would measure to the center, 5 1/8, and then I would go 1.5 inches that way and 1.5 inches that way, and that would give me a 3-inch bottom right in the middle of my cardboard. So, but what I did was I took 10 1/4, I subtracted my bottom, which was 2 3/4, which left me with 7 1/2. And then I took that 7 1/2 and said, okay, half of that is 3 3/4, and so that is what I measured in on each side so that I would have the right size bottom and the sides would be the same. It doesn't really matter how you do it. You just want to make sure that you have the width of the bottom of your bag in the middle of your cardboard. That's it. And depending on the size of your bag, this might be 3 inches, like I used as an easy example. It could be 4 inches. It could be any size. So just, put the bottom of your bag in the middle of your cardboard. That's all you need to do. Now, because this cardboard already has a flap here, I'm going to use that it has a fold. I'm going to use that to my advantage. What we're going to do is this is going to fold up, and these are going to be the sides of our box. So I'm going to go ahead and keep that. Now I want the bottom of my box to be 5 inches wide, so I'm going to go from that fold over 5 inches, and that's where I'm going to fold for the other side. And I hope this makes sense. The thing is that in any kind of construction, the biggest thing is just think it through. It seems like it might be kind of hard, but it really, really isn't. And when it comes right down to it, you can just kind of fold something in the way that you think it's going to need to be, and it will work. So with a box, you need a bottom and 4 sides. So all you have to do is fold a piece of cardboard that has a bottom and 4 sides, however you want to do that. I'm going to show you the way that I do it. Okay, so this right here, this is the bottom of my box right there. This is one side, and this is going to be the other side over here. Now, I don't need all of this cardboard that's left. So what I'm going to do, just to make it kind of about the same, is I'm going to measure this side and go, okay, there's 2 inches there. So I'm going to put 2 inches on this side also. The only thing you need to make sure is that it's wide enough to cover your bottom. And I'll show you that in just a second. Okay, well, we are going to need to cut this. So Did I say that was 2 inches? So I'm just going to mark. Whenever you're drawing a line, always make sure that you put 3 marks or more. That will kind of guarantee you that your line's going to wind up straight. If you put 2 marks and you accidentally marked one at the wrong spot, you may not notice that that line is crooked because you've only got 2 lines to look at. I can look at all 3 of these lines to make sure that they line up, and if one of them was way out here, I would know that I must have measured wrong. All right, so I'm gonna cut this excess off. It's in our way. We'll just get rid of it. And was that 2 inches or was that 2.5 inches? That was 2 inches. Okay. Get out of our way. I'm gonna put a line on here so you can see this. Okay, so this is what the bottom of a box looks like when I make boxes. You can make them so many different ways, but that's what it looks like. Your bottom, your front and your back, and your sides. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take my scissors and I'm going to just a barely little bit of an angle, and that's just so that you don't have to worry about them lining up. I'm going to cut this line off. Just like that. And we're going to do that for all 4 of them. Just a little teeny tiny angle on it so that the bottom, so that this little piece folds up inside nicely, and so that these ones don't stick down off the bottom. Same way when you're making envelopes and that type of thing. If you just put a little bit of an angle on the cuts, they have to fold in together. It just sometimes gives you a nicer fold. Okay, so there we go. And then what I'm going to do is, we've already got, this is already folded up. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to fold this on the line. Just like that. And then you can fold it right down if you want to make sure that you have a nice fold on there. Okay, so now this is what we have, and now we're going to fold up the front and the back along these lines. Like that. Like that. Now, it depends on what you want to do as far as with decorating and that type of thing. I'm going to refold it this way because I want the honeygrams on the inside of my box, not the outside. That way I don't have to worry about what I'm going to do to cover it. I just like the cardboard look on the outside of my box. All right, so this is what it looked like. We cut our lines in here, folded on all the lines, and then all we're going to do is we're going to just put glue on our little flap. Well, get that off of there. And put glue on this little flap. Okay, and then we're going to just fold one side up. Like that. And then we're going to fold the other side up. Except what we're going to do is, on this one we are going to put some glue along this edge where it's going to touch. This is what I was saying, was you want to make sure that you have enough that this piece is a little wider than half the width of your box, so that when you fold them up, they will overlap and you can attach them together. Like that. And then you just want to make sure that you've done it straight, because you could kind of push these in a little bit. And actually you could do that, and it makes kind of the cute shape of a box. It makes your box go like that. Those are kind of cute, and then you just need to retrim these before the glue dries. It's easier before the glue dries. But otherwise, you're going to want to make sure that you've got your top where you want it. So we know that our bottom was 2 3/4, so that's approximately what the top's going to be between the front and the back. So there we go. And then the biggest thing is you just want to make sure that this is as rectangle, I would say square as possible, but not square, but you want to make sure you've got your size about the same, so when you go to make your lid fits good. So there we go. Now we're just going to kind of keep giving that a little bit of a press. Normally what I would do whenever I'm gluing anything shiny like this, take a piece of sandpaper and sand the shine off your box before you have to glue it. It holds much better. So there's the base of our box. And we're going to see if that fits in our bag before we go any further. And it does. Does it have a little bit of room? Yes, it does. Not a whole lot, though. But so there's our box. Our box will go in there. We're going to put a top on it. We'll still be able to close our bag at the top. So now we'll go ahead. I am going to, and make sure that you keep giving that a good press, and press it right down on the table. Give it a really good press. And do that for just a little bit till you know that the glue has grabbed really well. And then you can let it set to dry. But just make sure that you get that really pressed together well. Okay, now I'm going to set this aside for a few minutes to dry, and I will be back and we'll make the lid in just a minute. Okay, I'm back, and now we're going to work on our lid. So what I've done is, again, I just have a piece of my box, and I cut a straight edge here, and I cut 1 inch up from this fold because I want the lip of my box to be 1 inch all the way around. So I have 1 inch on this side, and then I know what I want to do is I want my lid has to be a little bit bigger than my bottom. So our bottom was 2 3/4 by 5. So I'm going to make it 1/4 of an inch bigger, and then what the box opening is. So I'm going to make it 3 inches by 5 1/4. So I'm just going to, since I have this natural fold here, I'm going to use that. And I'm going to measure over 3 inches. And then I'm also going to put a mark at 4 inches for my 1 inch side of the box. And so I'm going to come over here and go 3 inches and 4 inches. And one more time, 3 inches and 4 inches. And I'm just going to draw a line so I can see what I'm doing, so you can see what I'm doing. So there's our box top, and here is our box side. And I'm just going to, cut off where the edge of the end of our side is going to be. Okay, so that's going to be, here's one side, here's the other side. Now we need an end. So we're going to measure 1 inch there. One inch. 1 inch. 1 inch. That'll be the third side of our top, of our lid. Like that. Now we know that we want our box to be 5. It was, let's see where they have that written, Our box bottom is 5 inches, so we want this to be 5 1/4. So I'm going to go 5 1/4. That 1/4 of an inch gives us 1/8 of an inch on each side of the box. It might be a little bit loose, but it should be pretty good. So I'm going to draw a line there. And then I'm going to come out 1 inch from there. 1 inch. 1 inch. 1 inch, and that's our 4th side. And we're going to cut that off. So again, this looks a lot like, put a line here so you can see that line. And there we go. So this is what our lid looks like. And this piece in the middle is the size that we want to fit over the top of our box. Now we are going to fold on those lines. And because I have the lines here, I am going to fold it this way, but then I'm going to fold it back the other way. We're going to fold this. Give us a nice good fold on there. You can use a bone folder if you'd like to. Okay, so then this is what it looks like. And now what we're going to do is we are going to cut just a little bit of an angle. Like that. And now we're going to fold this cardboard to the inside. So hopefully that 1/8 of an inch on each side is going to be big enough to handle the bulk of the cardboard that we're going to fold inside. But we'll find out. And you could fold it to the outside like this to make sure. I think we'll do that. We'll put our little flaps on the outside, because if we put our flaps on the inside, then it's going to take up that much more room on the inside. If we put them on the outside, it will be better. And it'll also be easier to put that lid on and off without having this little lip to catch it every time you want to put it on and off. So we're going to put them on the outside because we have to decorate our box anyway, so it's not going to matter that they're on the outside. And we're going to put some glue on each one of our little tabs. Fold them in like that. And then we're just going to have to hold them for a minute. Again, you could use double-sided tape if you want to. And then what we're going to do is we're going to see if it fits on top of our box before we let it dry. Because we might be able to adjust it a little bit if we have to, if it's not dry. Put that on there. Oh, and it fits just fine. It still does have, it has wiggle room. It does fit on there. And again, we're going to have to just keep holding those. You can, after you glue them, you could put a piece of tape on them to hold them until they're nice and dry. And what I want to do is I want to take this and make sure that it is going to fit inside my bag. And it is. And it is going to fit just barely. So I could have made my box just a little bit smaller, so that my lid would have been a little bit smaller. I wasn't thinking about the fact that the lid's a little bigger than the box. So I knew my box would fit. But so the only thing I'll have to do is I'll just have to remember when I decorate, I don't want a bunch of bulk on the side of my lid, because we definitely want that lid to fit in there. So just a piece of paper around that will work just fine. But it's going to be a tight squeeze. And then we'll be able to reach in and pull our box out this way. So I would give yourself a little bit extra room around your box. And that fits on there. And then that's going to fit in there. Like, just like that. And we'll still be able to close our bag a little bit. And there we go. So now we have our box in our bag. And I have not decorated my bag yet, but so tonight, between tonight and tomorrow, you can make your box and you can decorate it up so that it's all ready to go. And tomorrow we will make our envelope to fit inside our box. And actually, tomorrow we will probably actually make our book. Even though the envelope's going to fit in the box and the book is going to fit in the envelope, we want to make sure that we have the book made so that then we can make the envelope to fit the book. So tomorrow we will make the book, and then the next day we will make the envelope. So thank you very much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. I hope that you're enjoying this series, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.